This is Eric Posaple with Body Morph Pros. I'm here with Jackie Faine, NPC figure competitor, and Coty LOSEE, NPC super heavyweight, well, hopefully super heavyweight this year competitor. So what's going on, guys? How you guys feeling today?
Good. How are you?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
So we just came down here to USA Gym down in Bridgeview to smash some back. Now this is the first time you guys have been down here, yeah?
Correct. Yeah.
What'd you think of the gym?
Loved it. Hardcore.
They have a lot of things that I've never even seen at any of the other gyms I've used before, and it was really cool to learn some new tricks, stuff that I hadn't done.
Yeah, it's definitely different than your big box gyms that, you know, they're real core. I mean, you come in here and everyone in here they're here to train, they're here to work out, and there's no foofy going on in here. And I mean, the fact they have a posing room tells you what kind of gym this is going to be.
There's no like day glow equipment. It's like hardcore. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I always tell everyone I haven't filmed one here yet. I want to film a leg workout here because they have like the vertical leg press and some of the older machines that I'm an old man, so I've seen some of these, but you guys are young yet, so man, I've seen some of them. So, Coty, not everyone knows a lot about you here in Illinois. I know you're from Indiana. You've done some local shows out there. Haven't really gotten to the national level yet. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your background and what got you into bodybuilding?
Yeah, I've been personal training for 7 years now. I decided to start competing in 2010, and since then, I moved from a light heavyweight, and hopefully this year at junior nats, I'll be a super heavyweight. So after the training thing, bodybuilding just kind of felt right, and since then I fell in love with the sport.
Well, you look like you got stung by bees, so obviously the sport likes you.
I feel like I was stung by bees right now.
So now you probably could have squeezed into the super heavies last year, but you wanted to suck down in the heavies. What was the thought process behind that?
To be honest, I didn't check my weight the last 2 weeks of prep because I knew I'd be fluctuating between top of heavy and the bottom of super heavy. I stepped on stage at the Indiana show at 223, so I was right there on the bubble. Yeah. But I wanted to come in as conditioned as possible, so my thought was to come in peeled and let the ball fall where it did, and I ended up at the top of the heavy class and took that class. So
obviously it worked out well, and you're still qualified, so no complaints there. Looking at you now, I don't think there'll be any problem with making super heavies, unless you cut a leg off or something.
And that's not the plan. So super heavyweight is where we'll be in June. Okay.
And have you decided on a show? Is there a concrete plan? You're kind of seeing how things go.
Well, this week my plan kind of was altered a little bit. I thought the Indiana State show was going to be June 7th, and then I was going to roll right into junior nats. But the state show was moved to the 21st. So I'm kind of looking at possibly jumping over to Illinois and doing a warm-up show and then going into junior nats. So the plan is still on the bubble, but junior nats is definitely concrete at this point.
And then really just a local show, what, just to maintain qualification or to get your feet wet? Or
just to kind of get my feet wet because it'll be pretty much a year since I last stepped on stage. And last year I did back-to-back shows and felt that week in between I could kind of bring everything up. And I kind of wanted to do that again before the national stage. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get my plan concrete. But junior nats, either that's going to be my first show or it's going to be my second show. That's the plan.
And Jackie, obviously we just had you on the podcast recently, so everyone kind of knows you a little bit. But so I mean, how did you and Coty come to meet? How do you guys know each other?
We met probably about like 3 years ago. It was just awesome social networking. We kind of just caught wind of each other through bodybuilding.com, became friends, and it was, for me, I hadn't competed yet. I think he'd been doing a little bit of competing, and it was just some kind of like cool camaraderie because I was still in law school. Nobody around me could honestly relate to trying to compete with the academics. And
what are you talking about? There's a ton of bodybuilding lawyers out there.
Where are they?
I object. Cool. Just don't eat anybody.
Yeah. And it was just cool to have somebody to relate to, and we became friends and just sort of stayed in touch. And I got to see him when he came up for junior nats to see some of his friends, and it's just been really cool to have another person who gets the lifestyle as much as I do and really loves it.
So you guys are kind of like Beauty and the Beast, huh?
Totally.
And I mean, you're the Beast, Jackie, and he's the beauty.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's kind of pretty.
So, do you guys do a lot of workouts together? I mean, how often do you guys get together? Because what is it, about a 2.5, 3 hour ride?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours. Actually, this was our first workout together. Oh. So we thought it should be documented.
It was gonna be huge.
Let's talk about last night, because not only did you guys work out last night, we ate a little last night, yeah?
It was so good. Sushi and cookie dough, my favorites.
Yeah, we thought we needed a little pre-carb before this morning.
Yeah. An 8:30 a.m. workout. You're definitely gonna need some food the night before, so you don't fall asleep in here.
I wanted to carb up, make sure I had the energy, and who needs sweet potato and oatmeal when you can have cookie dough? It's
and mounds of sushi.
And all you can eat sushi. Nothing beats that.
So let's talk a little bit about workout styles. Do you guys, your workout styles complement each other? Because today was definitely a high volume day. Do you guys both do the high volume?
Typically, yeah. I mean, I've kind of learned over the years to check the ego at the door, not just move heavy weight with horrible form, and actually focus on the contraction and range of motion. So most of my workouts do focus more on volume and actual squeeze of the muscle. So I thought actually we complemented each other pretty well today.
Yeah. I'd say that his intensity matches mine, but I can't try to put on as much size as obviously a bodybuilder would. So I like lifting heavy, but I can't really max out on ridiculous weights. So.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest, your lower body is pretty much right where it needs to be. Like it's not like you need to go and. I don't think anyone's saying, boy, if Jackie just had some bigger legs.
Yeah, no. My challenge during prep is always to lean them out. So I never push heavy weight during, at least not during the end of prep. At the beginning, sometimes a little, but at least for upper body, I like to try to build it up as much as I can. So it was fun doing really hard on back day.
Now, Coty, is there something you're kind of focusing on this offseason? Do you feel like this one body part is my stubborn part, and this is what I'm trying to grow?
There isn't just one body part. I mean, after June, I talked with the judges, and they just wanted more size in general. At my height, I needed just more mass. I've really been focusing on bringing my back up a little bit. Back and legs. I mean, I don't feel you can ever have too much back or legs, especially as a super. So, I mean, I just wanted to grow overall, but really back has kind of been my main focus this offseason.
It's funny. I don't think anyone ever said Tom Platz's legs were too big. I think they said the rest of his body wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you think you compare at this point this year versus last year as far as improvements in size and all those good things?
I'm currently 263 pounds, and I'm 8.3% body fat, which is the biggest and leanest I've been. So compared to last year, I'm about 15 pounds heavier, and I would say probably 2 or 3% body fat lower. So this bulk season, I don't really call it off season, has been probably my best since I started competing.
Now, did you change up your diet at all? Are you eating the same things? Are you eating cleaner? Like, what do you think attributed to, and obviously muscle maturity always helps too.
I think it was a combination of everything. I mean, learning how my body processes food. I switched to white rice as my main carb source, and since then I've just grown. And also, I think my workout style, I've switched from just trying to move heavy weight every day to the more focused training, and I feel that that's really helped improve both growth, muscle size. Honestly, my strength's gone up too that way. So I think a combination of everything.
I love that you bring up white rice, because I think white rice gets this bad rap. Like, if you eat white rice, you're going to look like Jabba the Hutt. And it's like, it's not as bad as people. I've actually dieted a few shows on white rice and placed very well. And it's people, you just need to know how to utilize it.
Correct. Yeah, I was eating white rice 2 weeks out from the Indiana State show last year. I'm going to say 8 cups actually a day. So I love white rice. And I really.
There's what, about 60 grams a cup, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So you had a few grams of carbs, is what he said.
Yeah, just a few. And I mean, it really helped. I didn't have that last.
Yeah, but you were zippered. You were shredded. So it wasn't like it ruined you. Like, oh, you should have did brown rice instead. Like,
right.
People need to get off this white rice kick. It drives me insane. Know your body. Know biochemistry a little bit.
Exactly.
So what about you there, Miss Faine? Because I know you're going to start dieting here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think did you accomplish kind of what you want to do this offseason? I know you competed a couple times last year. You just did nationals.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're in a good spot to get after another show?
I feel like I'm taking this like a small bulk. I don't want to get too much bigger, but I feel like I'm doing it a lot smarter than I did last time. Last time it was just 2 months to just try to put on any sort of mass possible, and it did get kind of dirty towards the end. This time I'm being a lot cleaner and smarter about it, and using the cheat meals like the sushi and the cookie dough last night.
Getting smarter about them.
Like using it to my advantage as a reward instead of just thinking like eat everything and just try to gain.
Tear the refrigerator door off and eat everything inside.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a challenge because it's like you get so locked down during prep mode of being so rigid, so good, and then you get off and it's just like a slippery slope and you're like, I can't control it anymore. And that's probably the hardest part, is just weaning yourself to say like, all right, well, I could eat that if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because it's more work later.
Right, exactly. And it's, I did that the one year. I got up to like 315, and it was the worst prep ever because I had to do like 3 hours of cardio from like 12 weeks out. It was brutal. After that, I was like, this is so not worth the extra trips to get the burger.
No, it's not.
So let's talk a little bit about today's workout. Obviously, this was a gym that is foreign to you guys, so trying to find the equipment and decide what exercise you guys want to do. We started with kind of that standing lat pull down, which is. Have either of you done anything similar?
Never. That's one of the things I like about new gyms, though, is getting to try some of this stuff that I don't have at home.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a different feel, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I love either warming up on it or finishing on like sevens, like FST sevens. That's kind of a cool machine to do that on. So we kind of warmed up there, and then we went to the seated row, which little old school. Jackie had a little trouble, not killing herself on it because it's kind of a long re-rack system.
It literally jerked me so hard at one point. I thought I was gonna die, but it was good.
Yeah. So, but one thing I like about all Chuck's equipment, super smooth. He maintains the oil on him. He maintains all the equipment. There's no frayed cables and stuff. So everything here is really smooth. But
It's a pristine gym. I love it.
So how do you normally do your back workout? So I mean that's kind of a lat motion followed by a row motion. Do you coming in? Do you guys have a game plan usually that you focus on, or is it kind of see how you feel? Do you alternate from lat to row? Is there a lat workout? Is there a row workout? How do you work that?
For me personally, it might sound a little bit strange, but just like sometimes the pain I get from calluses and blisters, whatever exercise I know is going to require the most kind of grip strength, I guess, if you will, I try to hit that first, and then anything that's not just going to tear my hands apart, I'll save it for later. But as always, like the heavier, more compact, isolated movements, I try to do all of those first and just gas myself out as much as I can, so then everything else is just lighter and pushing through the reps and just finishing off.
Kind of filling that blood.
My game plan usually changes week to week. I mean, at home, obviously, I know the equipment a little bit better, so I kind of have a game plan driving to the gym. But like I said, when I change it, I mean, I'll superset, giant set, or even like Jackie said, compound movements at the beginning. It all just depends on what I'm trying to focus most on that week, either middle back, lower back, width, or depth. It kind of depends on what I'm looking to do that day. And like I said, I was trying to bring back up this bulk season, so I was training back twice a week. So each time I would focus on either more width movements or more rowing type movements. So
Cool. Yeah. So we went from there, and then we kind of we wanted to do some T-bar rows, which we finagled it in the squat rack there a little bit, and it worked. It came out all right.
it did its job.
I know Coty was trying to get 6 plates. The problem was the rack was coming off the ground, so he had to settle for 5 plates on the bent over rows. But Jackie got up to 2.5 plates. Form was pretty good. With a movement like that, I noticed neither of you guys wear belts. Is that something that pretty normal, not wearing a belt? I only ask because I'm old and I wear a belt. So
I like wearing belts. I didn't for the longest period of time, but recently when I've tried to do heavier movements, bringing it back into the game is super helpful. I just need to find one now that fits better because I have an old one that I got as a gift, and it doesn't quite fit right. It sort of feels like it's just suffocating me instead of assisting me, so I need.
Well, then you've added some extra butt, and you got to compensate for the extra butt padding.
Yay!
And then, how about you? Are you a big belt believer? Some guys are, some guys aren't.
Really, no. I mean, I'll belt up for heavy squats, but typically for back, I do not wear a belt. Usually it's just wrist straps, if anything.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I didn't use a belt for the longest time either. I felt like as long as your form was good and you were breathing, you didn't really need a belt.
Right.
I got old though and joints hurt, so I started using a belt more.
I think it's just smart though. I want to definitely invest in that, and especially when I start doing more leg stuff.
No, it's got you have something crafty on the back. You're like, do you have a nickname yet? Like Faine the Brain or something?
Faine the Brain. I got a nickname which is kind of ironic because Coty's name is Big Beast and mine is LIL BEAST. It was a joke a long time ago when we would talk about the amounts of weights that we lifted, and he's like, "Holy cow, for a girl, you're just a beast." I'm like, "Well, then I'll be LIL BEAST," and sort of a nickname came about, and that's my tank top that I'm wearing right now.
Awesome. So we'll have to contact Cardillo and get that thing embroidered on there.
Yeah.
If they're listening.
Absolutely. Yay, Cardillo.
So we went there and then we did some pullovers. What do you guys like about doing the pullovers? Do you always do them on the cable, or do you ever do them with like dumbbells?
I do both. I actually like the cables a little bit better because I can feel I can isolate my lats a little bit easier. I feel when I do the dumbbell, I start incorporating a lot more tricep and a little chest at the end. So I thought I do like the cables a lot better.
I just definitely being smart about it. At first, I'll sometimes feel it in my lats, and it takes more concentration for me to make sure that it doesn't shift to my triceps. Just keep it isolated.
Yeah, I hear that complaint a lot. People are like, "Oh, I feel that in my triceps." Like, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, sometimes smarter people in my gym will watch me and be like, "Do you see, like, you think you're doing it right, and you're actually not realizing that you are doing it wrong. You need to, like, bend over or whatever."
Angle and form is so important. But so we went there, and then we did a little bit of some dumbbell rows. I finally convinced Coty to take his shirt off, which only took like 6 exercises to convince him to get half naked in the gym. But looked pretty lean for 260 pounds. Let's just be honest. People will see here when the video comes up, but looking pretty lean. So, what do you like about the dumbbell rows versus maybe a barbell row or something along those lines?
I like being able to isolate each arm because obviously I have a dominant side. It's usually my right, so I like being able to focus on my left side as well and keep the gains equal and the movements equal. So I actually incorporate more dumbbell rows than barbell rows just because I feel I can move a little bit. I can move cleaner and without more jerk, because on barbell rows, I'll be the first one to say I kind of go a little bit too heavy sometimes, and I know my dominant side takes over. So
yeah, catch those issues while you're young.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me. I realize, especially when I do rows, that sometimes it turns into my hand pulling it as opposed to pulling through my elbow and feeling it in my back. So I just have to think about it more.
Awesome. Well, this was definitely an awesome workout. And you guys want to give some shout-outs before I cut you off here?
Yeah, we absolutely want to give a huge shout-out to Chuck Sano. Thanks for letting us use your amazing gym. I can't wait to come back, especially when I start prepping. And just family and friends, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely thanks to Chuck for letting us use USA, my friends and family, and then, of course, my sponsor, Unleash the Freak, for my Big Beast shirt that I was rocking today in the video.
Yeah, the lime green. Can't miss this one in the gym. Especially when you're 260 pounds with like a barn door from the back. Can't miss that. Awesome. Well, I do want to get with you guys again. Obviously, you're both going to be prepping around the same time. It'd be kind of cool to hook up. Maybe we'll do like a day in the life of where you guys kind of hang out. We'll shoot you around and film you doing crazy stuff like going to the grocery store and watch people stare at you guys.
With diet face and like starting to get tanner.
Right.
Perfect.
Once you get the zombie, the sunken in cancer look.
I mean, we all know what it looks like, and we all understand, like, you know, how miserable you are just cooking your tilapia standing over the grill. So yeah. Let's do it.
But I love watching people's faces. Like, you go to the grocery store and there's like a little old lady, and like you come walking in, they're like, "Oh my God, what is with them? Why do they look so weird?"
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of, you take certain things that people say that might actually be an insult, and you take it as a compliment. Like when somebody says, like,
"You're gross,"
you look gross, or like you look kind of sickly, you're like, perfect.
Yeah.
This means I'm right on track.
I always hate it when people would ask me, like, you look smaller. Are you still working out? It's like, I'm dieting for a show. And you're freaking out, like, I gotta go work out.
I need to go eat a cheat meal right now.
Yeah, mess with your head. But awesome, guys. I know it's Sunday. I know you guys got some football to go watch. The playoff games are on. Thanks again for coming out. I really appreciate it. Definitely keep in touch with us, and we'll do some more videos down the road.
Thanks for all the support, Body Morph Pros.
And thank you, Eric, for filming us today.
Absolutely, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. So for Jackie, Little Beast, Faine, and Coty, Big Beast, LOSEE, this is Eric Posable with Body Morph Pros, and we'll catch you guys all back in the gym. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
See you.